Speed is more than numbers. It is the feeling of control just before chaos. Every generation of engineers has tried to capture that balance, chasing a machine that makes physics feel negotiable. For some, it happens behind the wheel of a car. For others, it is when two wheels and an engine rewrite the idea of acceleration itself. In this story, we explore the evolution of power, precision, and purpose that turned an already legendary machine into something that bends expectation. It is a tale of obsession, engineering courage, and the pursuit of mechanical perfection that few dare to attempt. Stick around. By the end, you will understand how far ingenuity can push performance when limits are treated as invitations. Like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into the machines that changed the game, and let us know which build or series you want to see next. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom begins where most machines would stop. It takes the limits of speed, power, and control, and rewrites them through the lens of pure engineering daring. To understand why this bike exists, we have to return to the beginning, to the original Hayabusa that appeared in 1999 as the world's fastest production motorcycle. Suzuki designed it to surpass a psychological and physical threshold. A motorcycle capable of hitting 190 miles per hour in stock form was not just impressive, it was controversial. Governments and manufacturers discussed voluntary speed caps, and the Hayabusa's name became synonymous with the outer edge of performance. But to a small group of tuners and builders, that edge was only the starting line. The Hayabusa Turbo Custom is the expression of that philosophy. It is what happens when a platform born for speed becomes the foundation for mechanical extremism done with surgical precision. Suzuki's 1,300 cubic centimeters inline-4 engine is already a marvel of balance and durability. With forced induction, it transforms into something nearly mythic. The turbocharger does not simply add horsepower, it multiplies the experience, changing throttle input from a gesture into a challenge. The process of creating such a machine begins with control, not chaos. Builders strip the engine, reinforcing pistons, rods, and crankshafts to handle immense pressure. A custom manifold, precision fuel system, and specialized ECU mapping allow the turbo to deliver boost smoothly without tearing the motor apart. The goal is harmony, more air, more fuel, more power, but delivered in a way that feels seamless rather than savage. Every component, from the intercooler design to the wastegate placement, is tested under conditions far beyond what street riding will ever demand. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom is not simply built to run, it is engineered to survive under loads that would disable lesser machines. Yet performance tuning is not just about horsepower. The aerodynamics of the Hayabusa are critical to its stability. Suzuki's original bodywork was designed through wind tunnel testing, prioritizing smooth airflow and minimal drag at extreme speeds. When builders modify the bike for turbo use, they must respect that heritage. Subtle fairing adjustments, ducting for cooling, and even the shape of the tail section are reworked to maintain balance while accommodating the turbo system's heat management needs. The motorcycle's frame, too, becomes a key factor. The Hayabusa's aluminum twin-spar chassis offers exceptional stiffness. However, when doubling or tripling the engine's power, reinforcements become essential. Precision welding, gusseting, and alignment checks ensure the frame maintains integrity under acceleration forces that can lift the front wheel through multiple gears. The suspension is another critical layer. High-speed stability demands control, so tuners employ adjustable forks, upgraded shocks, and sometimes extended swing arms to manage traction. The longer wheelbase helps counteract wheel lift, while fine-tuned damping keeps the tires connected to the road. At this level, every decision matters. Tire compound, gear ratios, and even brake pad selection determine whether the bike delivers an experience of mastery or mayhem. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom also raises questions about intent. Is it a drag machine, a high-speed cruiser, or an engineering showcase? In reality, it is all three. Each version tells a story about its builder's priorities. Some choose massive single turbos for top-end power, chasing 500 or even 600 horsepower. Others prefer twin setups for smoother response and better street manners. The diversity of approaches shows how flexible and capable the Hayabusa platform is when treated as a foundation rather than a finished product. Beneath the surface, however, lies the human factor. Piloting a turbocharged Hayabusa is as much about trust as it is about skill. The throttle requires discipline, and small mistakes can translate into massive consequences. The learning curve is steep. Riders spend countless hours understanding boost behavior, throttle modulation, and body position. The reward is a sensation that few machines can offer, a surge of acceleration so intense it compresses time and space. But even with all that power, the best turbo Hayabusas maintain a strange kind of civility. They can idle smoothly, cruise comfortably, and even commute if tuned correctly. This balance is part of what makes the platform legendary. It is both monstrous and manageable, depending on how it is built and ridden. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom represents not chaos but control refined to its highest form. To understand its significance, we must look deeper into the science and engineering that allow such controlled fury to exist. Next, we will explore how the turbo system interacts with the Hayabusa's engine architecture, what makes it resilient where others fail, and why the pursuit of ultimate speed continues to captivate builders around the world. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom thrives on engineering precision, and understanding how its turbo system integrates with the engine reveals the depth of innovation behind its power. The Hayabusa's 1,340 cubic centimeters inline-4 engine is renowned for its overbuilt design. Its crankcase, gearbox, and head were created to handle extreme stress even in naturally aspirated form. This makes it a perfect candidate for forced induction. The turbocharger operates by recycling exhaust gases to spin a turbine, compressing incoming air and forcing it into the combustion chambers. The result is a denser air-fuel mixture, more efficient combustion, and a dramatic increase in output. Yet this simple principle hides layers of complexity. Managing heat is one of the biggest challenges. Turbocharging generates immense thermal load, and without precise control, the engine could overheat or detonate under boost. Builders of the Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom use advanced cooling strategies, larger radiators, oil coolers, and water injection systems that reduce intake air temperatures. The intercooler, which cools compressed air before it enters the engine, becomes a crucial safeguard. Each design choice balances efficiency with packaging, since motorcycles lack the space cars enjoy for large cooling systems. Boost control is another science unto itself. Mechanical wastegates and electronic solenoids regulate how much pressure the turbo generates, keeping the system within safe limits. Builders must calibrate the system so it delivers consistent power without sudden spikes. At the highest levels, tuners employ sophisticated standalone engine management systems that monitor air-fuel ratios, ignition timing, and exhaust gas temperatures in real time. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom is not just about brute force, it is a symphony of controlled combustion. The intake and exhaust flow characteristics of the Hayabusa engine are key to this harmony. Suzuki engineered its cylinder head for optimal breathing, with large ports and finely tuned camshaft profiles. When a turbocharger is added, those design strengths amplify. Builders often upgrade valve springs, install stronger head studs, and refine the cam timing to accommodate the new airflow dynamics. The engine becomes a living system, evolving through data and precision machining. Yet for all the mechanical sophistication, the magic of the Hayabusa Turbo Custom also lies in how it rides. Turbo lag, once a major drawback of forced induction, has been nearly eliminated thanks to modern ball-bearing turbos and electronic boost controllers. The power delivery feels linear, almost deceptive. Twist the throttle at mid-range, and the engine responds with a smooth surge that builds until the horizon begins to blur. Unlike superchargers, which consume some engine power to operate, a turbo harvests energy from what would otherwise be wasted. This efficiency means the Hayabusa Turbo Custom can achieve extraordinary power-to-weight ratios without excessive engine displacement. But with great power comes the need for restraint. Safety equipment becomes an invisible but vital part of the build. Custom traction control systems, reinforced tires, and specialized riding gear are not optional. The sheer acceleration of a turbocharged Hayabusa can test even the most seasoned rider's reflexes. Builders know this and often set up multiple boost maps, one for manageable street use, another for track testing, and a third for competitive runs. These selectable profiles allow the rider to adapt the bike to different environments, maximizing performance while maintaining safety. Behind the numbers lies the question of purpose. Why pursue such extreme performance when modern motorcycles already exceed most practical needs? For many builders and riders, it is not about need but exploration. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom represents the point where human ingenuity meets mechanical tolerance, where data-driven engineering becomes art. Each component tells a story: forged pistons whispering of endurance, titanium exhaust singing of precision, and carbon fiber fairings balancing strength with grace. Even the sound of the turbo spooling, that subtle rising hiss, becomes part of the narrative, a mechanical heartbeat that signals readiness. Despite its intimidating statistics, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom often surprises with its civility. When tuned correctly, it starts easily, idles smoothly, and cruises at highway speeds without protest. It can function as a daily rider, albeit one with untapped potential lurking beneath the surface. This duality, tame yet ferocious, is what keeps enthusiasts fascinated. The bike's ability to switch personalities mirrors its creator's discipline. It can showcase raw power or refined control depending on the throttle hand. The Hayabusa Turbo Custom also serves as a technological testbed. Lessons learned from these builds inform advancements in forced induction, material science, and electronic control systems across the wider industry. What begins as an individual pursuit of speed often translates into progress for all motorcycles, improving reliability, performance, and efficiency. Each successful run proves that limits can move further out, provided the process respects physics and engineering fundamentals. As we move forward, the next step is to see what happens when this power is unleashed, not in chaos, but in demonstration. We will explore how the Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom behaves under acceleration, what riders experience at full boost, and how this machine redefines the connection between human skill and mechanical output. Next, the focus shifts from the workshop to the road, where theory meets reality and every fraction of a second tells the truth about engineering mastery. When the Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom leaves the workshop and meets the open road, every design choice is tested in real time. The moment the throttle opens, all the theories, equations, and calculations become living motion. The first sensation is control, the second is disbelief. Acceleration feels less like building speed and more like stepping through dimensions. The turbocharger, now in its element, delivers thrust that grows exponentially with every increase in engine speed. Riders describe the experience as a wave, predictable, yet impossibly fast. In this phase, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom becomes more than a mechanical project. It becomes a test of human coordination and sensory balance. The rider must interpret the subtle cues of traction, lean angle, and wind resistance while the world narrows into a tunnel of motion. Suzuki's aerodynamic bodywork proves its worth here. The smooth contours, tested in countless wind tunnels, channel air around the bike with precision, reducing drag and maintaining stability at speeds that would challenge most motorcycles. With the added torque of a turbo system, that stability becomes vital. Even a small lift in the throttle can bring the front end light, and keeping both wheels in contact with the pavement is a constant negotiation between rider input and machine behavior. The chassis, suspension, and tires form an alliance to keep physics on speaking terms. Custom suspension settings allow for both rigidity and compliance, enough stiffness to handle acceleration forces, but enough give to maintain traction over imperfect surfaces. The result is a motorcycle that feels impossibly planted even under pressure. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom also changes the soundscape of speed. The deep, rhythmic hum of the base engine merges with the rising whistle of the turbo, creating a signature note that signals power under control. Unlike the harsh tone of a race engine at full strain, this sound carries refinement, a mechanical assurance that every part is doing exactly what it was designed to do. The sensory experience extends beyond sound and motion. At high velocity, temperature management, air pressure, and even rider posture become critical. Builders design custom heat shielding and fairing vents to ensure consistent airflow, while riders adjust their body positions to reduce turbulence. Every detail contributes to maintaining composure during sustained high-speed runs. The true mastery of the Hayabusa Turbo Custom is how it can switch from docile to dominant at will. A light throttle touch keeps it calm and composed. Open the throttle fully, and it transforms into something extraordinary. This adaptability is what separates refined engineering from raw modification. Where some turbocharged machines feel unpredictable, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom maintains a smooth progression, allowing the rider to choose the level of aggression. On controlled runs, the performance numbers speak for themselves. The motorcycle can cover a quarter mile in times that rival dedicated drag bikes, while maintaining a level of reliability that surprises even experienced builders. But the data only tells part of the story. The emotional weight of that acceleration, the realization that a road-legal machine can outperform most exotic supercars, is what defines its legend. Yet, every builder and rider understands the responsibility that comes with this kind of performance. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom demands respect. Every ride begins with a ritual of preparation, checking tire pressures, oil levels, boost settings, and environmental conditions. This discipline keeps the experience safe and repeatable. In the hands of a responsible rider, the Turbo Hayabusa is not a reckless spectacle, it is a controlled experiment in applied physics. It demonstrates how modern engineering, when combined with human restraint, can achieve something close to perfection. Beyond performance, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom represents a philosophy. It embodies the idea that improvement has no endpoint, that even a machine considered complete can evolve. This mindset drives the tuning community to explore new materials, refine aerodynamics, and perfect tuning maps. The bike becomes both a tool and a teacher. Its feedback is honest, it rewards precision and punishes carelessness. Each successful ride is proof of understanding, each run an affirmation of mastery. In competition settings, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom has inspired a new generation of high-performance builders. Its success shows that extreme engineering can coexist with reliability and design elegance. It proves that pushing boundaries is not about excess but about refinement, doing more with the same foundation. This perspective reshapes what enthusiasts expect from motorcycles. The Hayabusa Turbo Custom is not merely faster than its rivals, it is more sophisticated, more balanced, and more emotionally engaging. As the run ends and the engine cools, the experience lingers. It leaves behind a sense of possibility, the quiet realization that limits are temporary constructs waiting to be moved. The road may stop, but the pursuit does not. And that pursuit, the endless refinement of speed, balance, and control, is what the Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom truly represents. Next, we will close the loop, exploring the legacy this machine leaves behind, what it has taught engineers and riders alike, and why its influence will continue shaping the future of high-performance motorcycles. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom closes its story not with finality, but with legacy. What began as an experiment in mechanical extremes has become a benchmark for what motorcycles can achieve when innovation meets discipline. The Hayabusa name has always represented a pursuit of speed balanced with control. The turbocharged evolution takes that identity and amplifies it. Every successful build, every refined component, and every record-setting run has contributed to a broader understanding of what is possible within two-wheeled engineering. The lessons learned from the Hayabusa Turbo Custom extend beyond its frame. Builders who pushed its boundaries have refined techniques for turbocharging, cooling, and electronic management that now influence production machines. Manufacturers study these creations to understand where enthusiasts are heading, and in doing so, they bridge the gap between passion projects and commercial design. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom proves that innovation does not only come from factories, it thrives in workshops where data meets intuition. Its continued presence in performance culture demonstrates that craftsmanship still matters in an era increasingly dominated by automation and software. Each custom Hayabusa reflects its builder's personality, yet all share one constant: respect for the balance between power and precision. That respect is what allows these machines to perform under conditions that would overwhelm most vehicles. Beyond engineering, the Hayabusa Turbo Custom also represents community. Riders, tuners, and fans gather to share data, experiences, and inspiration. Forums, events, and track days become laboratories of progress. The culture built around this motorcycle celebrates learning and collaboration more than simple competition. It is about chasing excellence together, each participant contributing to a collective understanding of performance. For Suzuki, this continued enthusiasm reaffirms the significance of the Hayabusa platform. Few motorcycles have inspired such long-term devotion or technical exploration. The turbocharged variant ensures that legacy remains dynamic. It evolves with every new build and every generation of riders willing to take the challenge. In the broader world of performance engineering, the Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom stands as evidence that limits are not fixed but negotiable. Its existence encourages the next wave of designers and innovators to think differently about how power should be delivered, how stability can coexist with speed, and how emotion can be engineered into machinery. The story of this motorcycle is not about rebellion or excess, it is about progress through precision. It reminds us that performance, when pursued with purpose, becomes a form of artistry. The Hayabusa Turbo Custom has shown that true speed is not reckless, it is refined. It is the harmony between mathematics and emotion, the meeting point of human skill and technological mastery. For every rider who experiences its acceleration, there is a moment of realization: this is not just a machine, it is an idea made real. An idea that the boundaries of performance exist only to inspire those willing to cross them with care. The Suzuki Hayabusa Turbo Custom will continue to define that spirit long after the latest trends fade, reminding us that perfection is not a destination but a direction. Its roar may quiet when the engine stops, but its influence endures wherever engineers and riders look at a challenge and decide to go further.